And hello, those I are joining in through YouTube. Well, originally we were gonna only do Twitch, but it looks like might as well just decided to change of mind. We're gonna stream. We're gonna continue to stream through both Twitch and YouTube. It looks like Twitch is gonna be quiet today, for the most part.
Even the most unassuming ingredients can produce astounding flavor. But unlocking that potential takes a keen sense of smell, a refined palate, and an open mind.
Whee! Huh? What's going on over here?
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Huh?
Just take a breather, you two.
What's going on?
Oh, you're here. As you can probably see, you'll have to take a rain check on that tea I promised you. At least for now.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
No, it's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society.
How about we let Bonnie decide?
That's the name I've given her in the meeting.
Okay, so this is gonna be a random guess. Meeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by it. Boom. 19!
Well, this complicates things.
I told you before.
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays, dogs, cats. She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came to check. Just if she turns out to be one of ours, I'll take her back. Simple as that. Even if that's not the case, the Humane Society could still take... we're an organization that specializes in rescuing and sheltering stray animals. We've been in business for several decades now. I'm Bernard, the current director.
The Humane Society. Huh. The name sounds familiar.
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, if it turns out I really am mistaken, I suppose that means the cat belongs to this lady here. She would be the only remaining option after all.
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. They do look similar, but there's an ever so slight difference in this one's fur color. Deepest apologies, friends. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search
Hello,
for.
Mackie.
Apologies
Welcome.
again for the confusion.
Oh, come on. Don't give me a humph. He at least was trying to do his job.
Wait a second. You lied earlier, didn't you?
Lied?
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern, the way they hold themselves. The things that can give you away are often more numerous than you would think.
Oh.
What are you talking about? The way I see it, you're...
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. In fact, it's been strangely calm and measured this entire time. It stands to reason, then, that your agitated behavior earlier was all an act. If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most likely explanation is that you're a member of the Guards, or some similar organization.
And you're basing this off of?
Intuition. Nothing.
Intuition. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. This cat here, Bonnie was her name? Well, her owner is one of the prime suspects of our investigation.
Okay, that I was not
A couple
expecting.
of days ago, Our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. That's most likely how he got separated from the cat. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird. So, I decided to see if he'd come back for her. But it looks like I overestimated him.
The Royal Guard, she definitely doesn't look like it.
This case has been huge. The Marechaussee Phantom, the guards, and the Special Patrol have all launched investigations. If there was even the slightest chance that he would show himself, I had to follow up on the lead. A new kind of illegal drug. Imitation synth.
Oh no, not synth. That is a very, very terrible drug in Fontaine. Those who played the Archon story, they would know exactly what it does.
We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight. Even without substances on the market, people are still looking for a way to get their next fix. And criminals are all too eager to capitalize on that addiction. That was the impetus for imitation synth. Needless to say, a small-scale market opened up very quickly. After the original synth debacle, we put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The perpetrators got smart, though, and shifted their sales overseas before those measures could kick in. That's when the imitation synth smuggling began. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. What we were able to find out, however, hasn't proven that useful given the amount of time that has passed.
Oh no, not SIP.
The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. That's how we learned about Bonnie's owner.
So who is he
He's
exactly?
a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre Lafayette, to be exact.
Fancy name.
Lefebvre.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him.
Why did that pendant look like something from an anime I've seen?
At first, there wasn't much cause for suspicion. A search of his house didn't reveal much to go off of either. It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his pendant belonged to none other than the Lafayette family. One of the most infamous. Obviously, this discovery prompted a further investigation into Pierre. At that point, however, we discovered that he'd already fled. Now
That's not possible, actually. The Lefebvre family has been gone for a long time.
Oh.
Exactly. Many years ago, several important members of the family, including the patriarch, were murdered by an assassin of unknown origin. From that point on, family's power and influence took quite the hit. The family is engaged in all manner of crimes. As you can imagine, there's no shortage of people waiting in the wings to take their revenge. And with the family severely weakened, they were able to do just that. Most of the remaining family members succumbed to sickness or hunger. The ones that survived are currently living out their days under a new identity. Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. His true identity unbeknownst to all. Until now, that is. Well, my fellow guards have told me all about how smart and courageous you both are. There could be a chance that Pierre, or one of his accomplices, might attempt to get close to Bonnie. Now that you've been briefed on the situation, if I take Bonnie back to the guards with me, there's no way Pierre will try and come for her. I have to admit, I'm not holding out too much hope that Pierre will come back for her. But, well, I've got some other leads to follow up on.
You don't look so good.
It's nothing. It's just the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years ago.
Why?
It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family carriage. Whoever it was, they took me back to their home, but before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefevre family. That's what led Lenny and I to join the House of the Hearth after all these years. I never thought I'd hear the Lefevre name again.
Aww. You see, even the cat's concerned.
Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some secret investigation, and then out of the blue pushes me to do that acting job.
You might be aware about what's going on with Lefevre, or however you pronounce it. And he's been pushing her to do acting as a way to keep her away from the situation.
Thinking about it now, it's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan all along. He must have asked Fermine to help him out. In any case, I know he's hiding something from me. He's really pulled out all the stops.
Angry Bird? I didn't hear it.
It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful memories. Even after all these years, he's still as overprotective as ever.
Hey, that's a brother for you. Older brother, probably.
You'll have to help me teach him a lesson if we run into him along the way.
Are we going somewhere?
I want to head to the Fontaine Research Institute to learn more information about Pierre. A little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have this sense that's... Okay, I'll write a letter explaining everything to the crew.
Alright, time to go to the Fontaine Institute. This is... Yeah, you're fine. You can go to sleep if you need to. I'm not going to force you to stay up. Aw, what's Lenny doing here?
Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon. You should know better than to try and keep something from me. You've never been able to do that, even when we were kids.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?
This is Officer Shovras, captain of the Special
All right,
Security
yeah,
and
good
Surveillance
night.
Patrol. You may have met her already.
It's an honor to meet you. I have to admit, I'm quite familiar with both of you already. I should clarify something. Mr. Lenny's here at my invitation, not the other way around. To borrow your expression, Miss Lynette, I suppose that would make him my assistant more than anything. We've brought on Mr. Lenny as a consultant in the past. He was instrumental in helping us crack a case involving a perpetrator who used magic tricks to commit crimes. I was hoping he'd be able to provide some valuable insight this time around as well.
So you've heard everything then?
Yepers.
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefevre family. Some people even believe the House of the Hearth was involved. Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however, I took a look at the entrance and exit records of all the carriages that night. Let's just say it wasn't hard to deduce that there's ill will between you two. Don't worry, I don't have any evidence to that effect, and I certainly don't plan on going to bat for such a despicable family. Plus, you were victims back then more than anything. I sought Mr. Lenny's help with the smuggling case. Nothing more. The way I look at it, it's a collaboration between us as people, not the organizations we represent. Besides, by working together, we can expose the truth as quickly as possible. You can hardly say that's at odds with the justice my organization strives for.
So you wouldn't mind an extra pop?
Not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Busted.
Linny, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear. She doesn't need saving anymore.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right.
Oh, and the next time you want to distract me, you should try a different approach.
Instead, the kitty agrees.
Who's this? You pick up...
It's a bit complicated.
Well, if there are no objections, then I suppose the only thing...
It appears the Lefebvre family was very particular in their use of insignias and emblems. The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant was used to represent an illegitimate child.
They used that word? Oh my... That I was not expecting.
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed. It would also explain why he was able to assume a new identity as a researcher with relative ease.
We discovered something interesting, though. After talking to some of his co-workers, it appears he pretty much works at the Institute in name only. He's practically been cast out.
Wait, what happened?
Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth. He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect.
The imitation.
He claimed it was just for research purposes, but the Institute revoked his access to the relevant materials regardless. He was placed on disciplinary leave, pending a thorough but it seems the Institute ran into some trouble along the way. Could have been a lack of personnel or a timing issue. In any case, they had to table their formal investigation into Pierre. Unfortunately, that also included reporting any relevant information to the higher authorities. As for his family background, it appears none of his co-workers at the Institute were aware of that information. Other than the pendant, we didn't find anything else of note at his residence. Based on the samples of imitation synth we've been able to analyze, it appears the substance leaves behind strong traces wherever it's... Those traces might not be obvious to the casual observer, but they're not something our guard poodles would miss. Pierre's home, though. We didn't find any records indicating possible involvement in overseas transactions either.
Maybe he had a separate, dedicated area where
Well, his neighbors did say he was often gone for long stretches of time. You would think with him out and about so much, people would have spotted him around Poisson, but residents said they barely ever saw him in town. If his reclusive nature was just a matter of keeping a low profile, I guess it would make sense for him to have a secret base to...
After he disappeared, the guards conducted a thorough search of Poisson, but they didn't...
Poisson.
What is
You
it,
know
Lynette?
Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have to cross a stretch of ocean. It's not somewhere a cat could just wander off on its own.
A cat?
Bonnie is Pierre's cat.
Oh, that's right! When the Marechaussee Phantom first tracked him down, I remember there being something about a cat in their report.
From what we've learned about Pierre's habits, he doesn't seem like the type to venture out without a purpose. So what you're saying, Lynette, is that Bonnie couldn't have gone missing in Poisson. If that's true, then...
Exactly. Bonnie might even know where it is.
Wait, you think the cat can lead us there? But she's not trained like one of our guard poodles.
Meow. Meow meow.
Meow meow.
Meow.
Meow. Hello there. Welcome.
Near the coast, the beach, and beneath the cliffs.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
Well, if it works out, maybe it...
Cats and humans are actually pretty alike. When it comes to communication, most of what we want to convey can be accomplished through
But it
body
also
language
helps that
alone.
she's also part kitty.
But humans tend to rely too much on speech to ever take advantage of that fact. Of course, body language has its limitations.
The important thing is that we now have a lead. Let's try and find a place that matches the clues Bonnie gave us.
Go check the suspicious location. On it. Two kitties! Wait, can I capture the kitties? Nope. I can't capture those kitties. Oh well, it's worth a try.
Show no fear.
Looks like she's got a way to go before her attacks really do any damage on these mechs.
Light it up.
What is this? Uh-oh.
Rise with the sun.
Hey, you get back here. Don't you think you can run from me? Oh,
Burn it down.
funny.
Another rude bout.
Down you go.
Rise with the sun. Consider it. Did I scare you?
You know what? I got the high ground.
Open fire. Mozart. A gift for you.
I don't want your gift.
Let's fly. Open fire.
Ow. She's causing it so I take damage. I'm bleeding. No, and I can't heal myself, can I? Hmm? Too much dialogue. I'm skipping. Dude. I already cleared the quest. Okay, you know what? I'll take it. Oh.
Take me up.
You know what? This is easy. Hmm.
Fighting Malud is often a cause of conflict, but luckily for you, I don't really need this stuff.
Whoa, hang on. Mm-mm. It's gonna take more time to get my characters the way I want them, to make them the strongest. So that's part of the fun. If it was that easy, then where's the challenge? Did the barrier get just taken down? Oh.
More makes a lot of problems go away. So you can never have too much Mora, huh?
I need one more of those, then I can do a. Then I can do it 10 times on there. Here we are. Now.
Seems like Bonnie is trying to take us somewhere.
Follow the kitty!
Gardemex ahead.
Look out!
Uh-oh.
The pinnacle of excellence! A little amuse-bouche! Light it up!
Oh no, there's more of them. Enemy reinforcement. And down they go. Oh, Kitty's leading us away. Oh.
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes, I'd recruit you into the Special Patrol here and now.
Sounds familiar. I pretty much receive letters daily from people trying to poach her from me.
And he turns them down.
Let's just focus on our search.
Aha! Just as we thought. This is where the imitation synth was being made. Looks like he's got more than just imitation synths stashed around here. In addition to the raw materials needed to synthesize the substance itself, there's a large quantity of cleaning agents and a few drugs I haven't been able to identify. These cleaning agents are likely used to dispel traces of the substance, like its smell. The Special Patrol did some digging into imitation synth. Our records indicate that it's very difficult for ordinary people to detect traces left behind by the stuff. I'm sure that was the case for Pierre as well. It must have taken a considerable amount of time and skill to ensure all those traces get but what are these other drugs for?
The material these bags are made of, it's quite rare.
Doesn't it look similar to the material used for your magic pockets?
It's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber. But there's something special about the composition of these bags. I took a closer look, and it appears they're not only waterproof, but also corrosion and leak resistant. Even the strings look specially designed to keep the bags closed nice and tight. I came across some bags made of the same material just now, but they were much smaller and thinner. From the look of them, they seemed far less durable as well. Very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to sniff out the imitation synth, but if it was sealed away in a bag like that, it might be possible to elude detection for some time. But what could these big bags be for then? If the goal is to keep the imitation synth hidden and sealed away, these bags seem a bit too conspicuous.
When the Marechaussee Phantom searched Pierre's house, there was no sign of these barrels, right? You're right. That doesn't seem like his way of doing things. Only the lower halves of the barrels appear to have been submerged in water.
Based on the various ingredients we've found, this appears to be where Pierre was cooking up his imitation synth. It looks like he used a special cleaning agent to get rid of any residual traces of the substance on his person before he left. That's how he was able to get past the guard poodles.
So then he transferred the imitation synth into small sealed bags and took it somewhere else for the drop-off.
No. I don't believe our suspect is the kind of person who'd go around carrying incriminating evidence with him. The cleaning agent and the sealed bags might get past the guard poodles, but if a member of the public or even a guard on patrol happened to see him during the drop-off, a quick search would reveal everything. That's still a very risky—
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the top half was dry. As if they'd been standing upright in the water. If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side. Unless it's heavily loaded, in which case it'll sink.
Yes. With flotation rings around the body of the barrels, they'd stay upright in the water. And then he could afford to load them more fully.
That's what the big bags were for.
You think he used floating barrels? I suppose if he acted at night, when there are very few other boats around and visibility is low, it's a valid theory. We can't rule it out.
But then, wouldn't the barrels be carried off by the waves or the currents? How would the person doing the pickup know where to look?
Traveler, can you come take a dip in the sea with me? I have a feeling that somewhere down there, we might find some rope. If a rope can be used to keep a pet from running away...
Head underwater and search for clues. There possibly is something. There's a boat. Oh, so there's a manta ray.
This isn't the place. This isn't the place. The wreckage of a small boat?
I guess the boat isn't it either. Strange. Where could the... Oh. There's a rock.
Got it. Time to go up and report.
It looks like the rope might be used to keep the bags of air is used to keep the barrel floating, but the rock on the bottom is used to keep attached to the rope is used to keep anchor it in place.
expected, we found a few pieces of rope and some anchoring stones underwater. If you attach them with this anchoring system, it would be possible to use floating barrels for the drop-off. You would just need to drop them in the water at the agreed-upon location. We also came across the wreckage of a small boat. It must have been left out on the water and capsized due to the force of the wind and waves. Its small size, however, would have made it perfect for staying undetected.
Let's talk this through. Based on the evidence we've collected, it seems like Pierre would row a small boat out to the agreed-upon transfer point, drop off the barrels, leave, and then row back and retrieve them after the transfer was complete.
It could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate face-to-face. As one of the sole survivors of the Lefebvre family, maybe he was just used to that sort of elusive life.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating barrel method so that the goods could be dropped off and picked up at separate times.
Well, if that's the case, they must not have a very close working relationship.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. Assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. It's possible they were just trying to keep a low profile. The most important thing is that we can now confirm Pierre wasn't acting alone. The floating barrel drop-off system is proof enough of that. Let's say for now that he was only in charge of producing the imitation synth. That would mean there has to be at least one other person involved in the operation, likely in charge of transporting the goods across the border.
That explains why we couldn't find evidence linking him to any overseas operations.
Since we've determined that the goods were transported by boat, maybe we can track down some...
We can certainly check the various ports for that information. It's possible, however, that Pierre's associate also used a small boat for the transport, and docked along the shore rather than at a large port. If that's... Absolutely. Before Pierre disappeared, we made sure to investigate all sorts of outward-bound vessels. We also had... Unfortunately, we were never able to find out how they managed to get the imitation... You're right. Whatever vessel was used for the pickup, the person responsible for smuggling the substance out of Fontaine would have had to use a larger vessel for the actual transport. They must have found a way to disguise the imitation synth to clear port inspections. Exactly. We can't let any opportunities slip through the cracks.
I'll run home and ask some of my brothers and sisters to try and dig up some information.
I should also head back and update my platoon on our progress. I'll grab some reinforcements while I'm at it. Lynette, Traveler, why don't you head to Lumidu's Harbor?
All right.
She's taking the kitty too! Yay.
Try and stop me!
I was hoping that lasts a little longer. But you know what? That's fine. At least I don't have to worry about drowning here. Oh. There's a teleport waypoint down here. Is that an underwater barrier? It is. How do you get across, get past that barrier? Where'd that come from? Where are you going? Wait, maybe that's why I can't get in there. Maybe you need to free them all in order to get in. Yeah. But it does give us a chest. Alright, that's number 2, so there's got to be a third one nearby. Strange, where could the third one be? And there we go. We got the chest. So what else are we gonna end up be doing? Next Friday I plan to be playing Mario Party Jamboree with some buddies. Be looking forward into that. I will be working on a brand new outfit for Rusty for the summer. I might get Pixel an outfit too. We'll see. I'm still in the middle of the drawing board to decide what outfit is going to be made for Rusty. But also, I need to get started on my get started on the Chibi art stream. So I will be working on the Chibi soon. I'll be trying to work on it this week on my spare time. In other news, I am going to be trying my best to get my hands on the Switch 2. So I didn't get a chance to get pre-orders. Unfortunately, I missed out on the window for pre-orders. Or at least I feel like I might have missed out on my opportunity to get a pre-order. So I'll have to get lucky and try to get it with that. Maybe I'll be lucky. Maybe I'll be able to get my hands on the Switch 2 at where I work. I work retail. So maybe I'll get lucky and they will have some in stock while I'm at work. You never know. Worth a try at least. There you go. All the vines that was stopping the airship has been taken out. And up I go. Wonder where the airship's gonna take me. Oh, that answers my question. It's gonna take me to,
Okay, I can get behind this filling.
Ooh. I'm gonna land on that ship. I want to see if there's anything hidden on it. If I'm lucky, I might find a chest. Or at least some crates. Whee! There was something up here at least. Whoa, where are you going? Oh. Blech. Wait. Huh? Yes, the music is definitely lovely. I like Fontaine. Fontaine's my favorite region. For the music, the mechanical, steampunk-like technology they have, the undersea exploration. Speaking of which, I think in my last one of these guys might be underwater. Also, how you doing, Ash? I didn't even noticed the treasure chest until now. Ooh, a barrel conch. Don't mind if I do. Excuse me. I had to take out the blubber beast. Sorry. It's a little otter. It's a little otter. There you go. That opens the...
Are we sure this stuff isn't expired?
Meh, I had to do it. I needed to get past them. It looks like we need to be right. Oh, hey, what's going on over here? Raimondo? Not Knacker.
Oh,
Oh,
Lynette,
it's her.
Traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
Did something happen?
Oh. I see. Thank you for everything you're doing for the people of Fontaine. I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travelogues, right?
Yep. Let's see if we
Looks
can
like
find
I got
anything
another hard
suspicious.
day of work ahead of me.
Aww.
No, not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. Before that, everything was normal. All we had to do was confiscate anything suspicious and we could call it a day. Pretty simple stuff. But things are much more complicated now. We somehow let suspicious cargo pass through the port undetected. Not even our guard poodles were able to sniff it out. Even worse, we still don't know how the perpetrator was able to conceal the goods so well.
By suspicious cargo, do you mean
Yep. However, prohibited substances are just one example. We confiscate all sorts of contraband
Yeah,
during the course of our inspections.
They
Or
got
at
poodles
least we're
that
supposed
are
to.
like basically the police dogs of Fontaine. It kind of fits with the whole theme of it being uh, the theme of the city.
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, we keep them in a storage locker. If they turn out to be something particularly dubious, we'll turn them over to the maison, or if the goods are only slightly suspicious but could otherwise be harmless, like raw materials that could potentially be used to create contraband, we return them to the ship they were confiscated from, instead of letting them pass through the port.
Sorry for the wait. These are the travelogues for all...
There's one of the poodles. This is one of the guard poodles.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Actually, he followed me here himself. It's like he smells something on me. Huh. I wonder why Gerard is reacting to you two so strongly.
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we still ended up with traces on us. If it leaves a residue so easily, I just don't understand how the culprit was able to disguise the goods at all.
Why don't you have a look at the travel logs first? All ships coming in and out of the port are recorded here, except for the ones the port authorities ride to and from work.
Wait! Could it be they confiscated authorities' boat? Wait a minute.
The Humane Society.
We've encountered that organization before.
Their name is all over the exit logs. The purpose for leaving is always listed as overseas adoption.
Ah, the director of the organization explained that actually. He said a lot of the cat and dog breeds unique to Fontaine are also very popular overseas. So his organization offers an overseas adoption.
Bernard, the director of the Humane Society, was the man who came looking for Bonnie earlier. Have you figured it out too, Traveler? The way the criminal disguised the goods? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie, he was actually checking whether there was any imitation synth in her stomach.
Ew! So he's making the pets swallow the drugs to ship them? To smuggle the drugs? That is just inhumane. Monsters indeed.
Wait, what?
The sealed bags we found at the secret base. They were specially made to be corrosion resistant.
So they wouldn't be digested.
And there were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them upright in the water.
So that the animals would be able to breathe. Oh my goodness, they are monsters.
Those drug Chevres found at the secret base. She most likely didn't recognize them because they're not used on human beings. It's an anesthetic used on pets. The perpetrator must have given it to the animals.
So they would keep still on the floating barrels and not get tipped over.
Pierre must have made the animals swallow the sealed bags full of imitation synth at his secret base. Then he stuffed them into floating barrels and left the rest to Bernard.
The sealed bags combined with an animal's body odor would certainly be enough to mask the scent of imitation synth.
During our inspections, we would have never thought to inspect the bellies of those animals for anything suspicious. Even if we tried to feel around for something, I'm sure it would be difficult to detect.
Exactly. I bet Bernard even transported animals with synth in their stomach alongside ones without. That way, it would be even harder to say with certainty that something was amiss. She's probably in the clear. Otherwise, Bernard would have never left without her. I'm guessing he didn't know whether Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth before he fled. Just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the Steambird, and it turns out that one of the very cats he gave to Pierre for the smuggling operation is out in the open. If Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth, then Bonnie would practically be living proof of their crimes.
So, that's why he came to find you and insisted on taking a closer look at the cat.
Wait a second, I'm a little lost here. I get the part about hiding the substance in the pets, but those, what did you call them again? Floating barrels? Why even put the animals in there? If you've got something as convenient as a floating barrel, why not just stuff it with the imitation synth directly? Why not wait to hide the stuff until after the exchange has been made?
In order to make sure the animals could swallow the sealed bags, they made them extremely thin. Had they not done that, the animals would have likely bitten or chewed through them. That step would have required a lot of energy, as well as a certain amount of technical expertise. So, it was better left to the more experienced Pierre. We've already proven how easy it is to pick up trace amounts of imitation synth, so I'm sure Bernard was taking all the precautions he could to avoid the same fate.
Okay, then let's head to the Humane Society right away and bring that guy to...
That is insane. And it's sad that stuff like this can happen in real life. Be people who misuse animals, misuse pets for something like this. It's horrid. As a pet lover, as someone who's had multiple pets, my family we would always go whenever we needed a pet. Whenever we were getting a new pet, we would go for one at an animal shelter. We'd always go one rescue pets. My recent dog, she is a rescue pet too. And she is such a lovable dog. She is, And she is a Pitbull Beagle mix. Very full of energy. Loves to play. But also has a form of separation anxiety. Ooh. I don't have any bait. Well, that's not good. Looks like I'll need to come back here. Oh.
Let's fly. Open fire.
Get in the water.
Ooh, shiny. It's so pretty.
Ooh. Huh? How am I supposed to get up there? Oh, okay. I was like, how am I supposed to get up there? There we go.
Mora makes a lot of problems go away. So you can never have too much Mora, huh?
Alright, I'm curious about this cave. There's gotta be something important down here. Uh-oh. The current's too strong. I can't get in there. I can't get in there. The current's just way too strong. It's possible this is only for a minute of an exit for a quest. So it's definitely not gonna let me go through. Haven't we been here before?
Open fire. Bullseye.
These guys were quick to flee. Miss me. Oh. There's gotta be something important here. Uh-oh.
Locked on! Locked on!
At least I'm not affected by my own lightning. I'm not affected by the electrodes in the water. Why is it? I have a feeling I've been here already. I think I have, because there's this gate. I think there was a gate right here that I opened. Yeah, I think I have been here. You can never tell. Sometimes when you're exploring large open world games, you don't even realize half of the time you've been to a certain spot already. Oh. It looks like I can do some my weeklies. I might increase Leeway's reputation next. Due to the fact that you can get you can make a portable pot.
Try and stop me!
FBI, open up!
The headquarters of the Humane Society should be somewhere around here.
Oh, you're the people from earlier. Wait, you're from the guards?
Busted.
After him! We can't let him get away! Give it up, Bernard.
Mercy, have mercy, I'll talk.
The Humane Society has done so much good over the years, and yet you have committed such an atrocious deed.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of his human wife and son at all. While those animals were showered with love, I lived worse than a dog.
No one asked. Tell me.
Well, after I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain. It's said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only after a few such transports that I finally understood what I was really transporting. But then, Pierre wrote to me, saying that we were already partners in crime and that I better keep cooperating with him if I didn't want to be reported to the guards.
He might be lying. He's lying.
You knew it from the very beginning, didn't you? The reason why you had to go through so many steps just to transport some animals.
I'd suggest that you confess everything right now if you don't want to add.
Yes, officer. I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices according to his instructions, and then load the sleeping animals onto a boat. Once I sailed to the location he provided, I would dump everything together into the sea. And a few days after that, I'd come by again in my boat and pick up the animals sleeping in the barrels. Once I had received enough of them, I'd bring them to the harbor to be adopted abroad. That guy, Pierre, he was running the entire show. He set up all the meeting times and found all the foreign adopters. Oh, and he even supplied all of the goods, too. I just did the transport. He was the one who planned out and executed everything else. Look, I don't know, okay? I've never ever met him in person. We've only ever communicated through letters.
And when did he send his final letter?
Just last night. He said that the Marechaussee Phantom is now after him, so he's planning to go into hiding for some time. He didn't mention where he's thinking about going, though. But
It's been a few days since Pierre's last appearance. I'd wager that he sent that letter after he found his hiding
So
spot.
where is that letter?
I burned them. It was on his orders. I had to burn every letter after reading them. I wasn't even allowed to share them with the rest of the society employees.
Sure sounds like you're trying to use the lack of witnesses or evidence to pin the blame on
No, I swear, this time I'm only telling you the truth.
Well, we can check the truth of your statements at the Opera House. I hope you know what'll be coming for you if I were to find any discrepancy between the evidence and the testimony you just...
I know, I swear.
My thanks to you both.
Bonnie helped, too.
That's true. It was all thanks to her that Bernard was finally...
Good kitty.
And it looks like she's grown quite fond of you two as well. Then I'll leave you be. Just let me know if you find any other new leads.
Aww. Something on your mind, Steph?
It was that obvious, huh? Well, even though it didn't feel like Bernard was lying, we investigated so quickly that perhaps we've missed a thing or two along the way. Is there still anything unresolved? The Marechaussee Phantom found Bonnie and the Lefebvre pendant at Pierre's residence. That was the beginning point of our investigation. Why would he leave such an obvious trail for us to follow, when he took so much care to not leave any traces of... Well, we've discovered that Bernard is responsible for the trafficking, while Pierre deals with supplying... There's no need to rush. Bernard claims to have received a letter last night from Pierre. If Bonnie had imitation synth in her body, then she was a liability that had to be recovered at all costs. But, in thinking about it, Bernard only attracted our attention in the first place because he came to... Could it be that the person who wrote the letter also knew nothing about Bonnie's whereabouts?
Now behave, and follow me.
Ow! That hurt. Ow!
Alright, time to draw a card. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cards! Alright, guys, pick a card. Any card. Let's see what happens. Seven? Alright.
Is there something else you need from me, Traveler?
Huh?
I see. It all...
Hey, what are you talking about?
Because he has been kept in the dark all along. And I assume it's the same with Pierre.
Oh.
That never quite added up for me. Why did Pierre feel compelled to return to his home with Bonnie and the pendant, and make them so easy to find for the Marechaussee Phantom? Both of these things are in stark contrast to his usual meticulous and vigilant behavior. There's only one reasonable explanation. He was following orders, just like Bernard.
Pierre and Bernard were probably gonna be dropped off like scapegoats, so whoever was in charge could slip away undetected once they found out something was off.
He probably received the following instructions right before the Phantom came knocking on his door. Bring the cat and the pendant, and our undercover agent will be sure to help you. Unbeknownst to him, however, the third person who wrote that letter to him had long decided to sacrifice him and Bernard to save themselves.
What? You can't be serious. There was a third person involved?
If you focus only on Bernard's testimony, it's easy to believe that only Bernard and Pierre were working together. The case appeared extremely simple. Bernard did the trafficking, Pierre the imitation synth production, drugging, and stuffing.
Wait. But that doesn't make any sense. If that's the actual truth, then as soon as Pierre is caught, he'll explain his side of the story.
Yep, which is why the third person made sure that Pierre would never be found again. Once they had instructed Pierre to expose himself, the third person wrote to Pierre again, suggesting that everything had been taken care of, and he should take Bonnie and safely return to his base. Of course, Pierre's disappearance at such a sensitive time immediately made him a prime suspect. Knowing that Bonnie had last been seen with him, all the third person would have to do from that point on would be to lead the Phantom to investigate the Humane Society and get Bernard to confess the truth.
Wait, so you're saying that the letter I received yesterday, the one that made me think Pierre was still alive, it was also sent by the third person?
Is that what happened? I'll get back to headquarters right away and reinvestigate this case from the top.
Not so fast.
Chevra said that assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. Someone among us, however, has been feeding us all kinds of preconceived notions ever since our first meeting. They suggested that Pierre's disappearance was an attempt to escape the judgment of the law, and that Pierre was a scion of the Lefebvre family. But if the disappearance is truly just a cover-up for a murder, then couldn't the true scion have been an illegitimate daughter, rather than an illegitimate son?
Huh?
Huh?
Haven't you taken this joke a bit too far? You're right. I did let a lot of assumptions get to my head when I first started to talk to you about the—
You deliberately fed us lies, but even you could not control every last detail of your plan. There was a flaw. Getting the Marechaussee Phantom to notice Pierre was only the first part of your plan. Had they failed to take notice of the Humane Society, they could have cast a wider net. And you couldn't predict what they might possibly find, if given enough time. This, of course, was the main weakness of your plan. As someone accustomed to acting from behind the scenes, you didn't want to take the risk of personally proposing a raid on the Humane Society. So, you thought about pulling a few more strings, so all the suspicion would point towards Bernard and his society.
A great option, of course, would be to also dispose of Bonnie and leave her body at Pierre's base in anticipation of a later discovery.
Once the Phantom expanded their search, it would only be a matter of time before they found Pierre's base. If a cat last seen with the suspect turned up dead at the imitation synth base, it wouldn't be long until the Phantom would figure out exactly how she had been mistreated and turn their eyes towards the one organization that has been sending boatloads of animals out of Fontaine.
Bonnie escaped at she escaped being killed. Oh, but that is traumatic.
It was probably during your ambush of Pierre. You didn't even have the time to check if she had already been stuffed full of imitation synth. Still, you soon found another opportunity. Before long, Bonnie had made her way back into the city, and even popped up on the Steambird. Like Bernard, you desperately wanted to confirm the contents of her stomach, so you hurried to find us. Unlike Bernard, however, you were hoping that Pierre did have the time to make her swallow a load of imitation synth. While investigating the suspect's cat, we unexpectedly discovered that the suspect has been smuggling imitation synth using living animals as intermediaries. That was your plan, in any case. With that, you'd have been able to lead the investigation towards the Humane Society. Bonnie had managed to escape before Pierre was able to stuff her full of imitation synth. That part of your plan could no longer be carried out. But as shrewd as you were, you came up with another plan, right? You manipulated the Traveler and I to help you identify Bernard as a key suspect. You used the Lefebvre name as bait to get us to join your investigation. With 2 extra bodies around, the Special Patrol is sure to soon take note of the strange event of Bernard somehow having a reason to look for Pierre.
So, what you're saying is, I went to all that trouble just for the chance that you might put forth the suggestion that would—
Of course, you did far more than that. Just now at Lumidu's Harbor, were you not the person who highlighted the suspicious activities of the Society?
Ugh.
He did bring it to our attention.
You even highlighted the Society's activities during your compilation of the logs, so they'd be immediately visible to anyone examining the record. Moreover, the logs contained no records of the Port Authority's activities. In other words, your activities.
True.
And what are you trying to suggest?
I am insinuating that you had plenty of opportunities to transfer the raw materials for imitation synth from the harbor to a boat, and then sail over to the meeting place full of floating barrels.
And that's how neither the trafficker nor the manufacturer knew there was a third person who supplied the raw materials and surreptitiously operated between them. Pierre manufactured imitation synth using the raw materials you provided, stuffed the animals, and placed the animals back into the barrel. Having received the green light from you as Pierre, Bernard then retrieved his animals and shipped them out of Fontaine once he had received enough for a full batch.
I can't believe it. I never...
So what do you think she's going to say next?
But do you have any evidence?
But do you have any...
It appears that it's quite easy to predict what you'll think or say. Then if we apply that to this case, we can also... You know very well that this case will not end until Pierre is found. So you will have him commit suicide out of fear and shame. That way, you can also pin the blame for the overseas smuggling activities, the theft of the harbor's confiscated raw materials, and even the Lefebvre name on him. But you still want it to appear as if he had sent that last letter to Bernard, so you have to make sure he cannot be found
You're welcome,
until
and
after
you do
Bernard
have a
has
good night.
confessed to the authorities. To do that, you either will hide his body until you found an appropriate time to set up a fake suicide scene, or you'll dump it someplace where it'll be hard to determine the exact time of death. Submerged in water. The location would ideally allow you to keep the body hidden for some time while also letting you keep an eye on it. There are only so many options to hide a person's time of death, after all. As long as the Phantom investigates each of the possibilities, and especially since, as the prime suspect who will now be taken into custody, you will no longer have the time to move him, or so.
How absurd. And on what grounds will you order my arrest?
Elodie Lefebvre!
Busted!
As the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, I hereby declare you as a suspect in the case. If you have any objections, you may raise them later during interrogation.
That's right. We received a message from Lumiduce Harbor that you were going to investigate the Humane Society. We didn't expect to run into you at such a critical moment.
While at the harbor, we noticed something else extremely interesting. Apparently, you often used all kinds of excuses to swap your shifts. And if one were to match the times of your shifts to the activities of the Humane Society and those of certain foreign ships, they'd find them to be an exact match.
That...
Yes, I'm sure you have already thought of a dozen different ways to explain away the suspicious activities. But as far as evidence goes,
Don't worry. If it turns out that the guards are still unable to find any evidence after all this, Lynette and I will do everything...
although judging by her reaction, I assume no follow-up from us will be...
The Lefebvres were infamous for using disguise and infiltration to achieve their goals. Who would have thought that they would have planted someone within the guards?
Judging from the timeline, they likely arranged for you to enter the guards before the fall of the clan. But they probably didn't expect you to turn it to your advantage and use your job to save yourself during the purge.
Not only that, but you actively participated in the interrogation, arrest, and judgment of the Lefebvres during their fall, thus clearing yourself of suspicion. You brutally and cruelly abandoned your allies as soon as they outlived their usefulness, just like a lizard cutting off its own tail in order to live. You've been doing this for years.
So you played me like a fool after all?
What was that word? They were worthless scum. All of them. Not just Bernard and Pierre, but those Lefebvres too. I lost all my chances of a normal life just because I was born into their lot. Not only that, but because they wanted me to become an undercover agent, they stripped me of my name, too. I had to live in constant fear of them while they were alive. And even once they were gone, I had to continue to bury my heritage and my name. Do you know anything about what I've been through over all the—
I don't, and neither do I care.
Are you—
Elodie, you're the only one still living under the shadow of a name.
That's enough. Keep your hands where I can see them and do not resist arrest. If you have more to say, say—
What a joke. What a joke! Hey!
That is a very poorly made device.
Don't come any closer.
But what is it? An explosive?
What's that?
Know what this is? Whether they're cats, dogs, or just unlucky human. Surely, you bunch of goody two-shoes won't let that happen.
Alright. What do you guys think I should do? Should I use the art of deception? Should I use persuasion, intimidation, or should I just knock her out when she's not looking? So many ways, so many options. Anybody? Deception? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh boy. Gotta use the heart of the cards. Let's pick card number 5. Check failed.
That's enough!
Not good. She's trying to escape. We need to end this fight as soon as possible.
Wrath from the sky!
Up to the freezer!
Busted so quickly, huh? Ah!
Phew. So I was right after all. It's easier to— This is it. Looks like it's just a toy.
She was bluffing!
Guess that's probably why she suddenly flipped and knocked out Bernard. He probably knew that there were no explosives at the Society.
Well, given that she never even showed her face to Bernard and Pierre, I had my doubts that she'd have gone to the Society.
Thank you for your help, everyone. I'll take them back for thorough questioning and find someone better to take over the Humane Society.
If statements are all you need, I still need to go back and explain some things to the crew. Ah, so you do remember. Once I'm done talking with the troop.
It is. Ooh. I stepped on her legs. I broke her legs.
You can leave the rest of this to me. The other guards will be joining me shortly. The materials have many other regular uses outside of being used to make imitation synth, so they're not immediately subject to being confiscated or destroyed. The harbor would usually just seize them for some time while the customs paperwork is filled out and approved. If approved, they'd be let through, and if not, they'd be returned to sender. Elodie probably used her position to replace a portion of the shipment with something else, before sending the whole shipment back to sender. Given that the foreign merchants who sent in the shipments were probably working with her in the first place, they likely just never reported the difference in what they sent. We will, of course, continue to investigate the rest of the details of this case.
Lynette must have spent a record-breaking amount of time in serious mode today. I can't remember the last time I've seen her like that. Could it... Based on information that we found before, imitation synth was first circulated on a small scale in Fontaine. I'd assume that the first offerings of imitation synth came from what Pierre made in his early days. But since he was not experienced with running a clandestine operation, he was... Elodie saw the opportunity to make a great profit in his work, and perhaps even the chance... She started writing to him in Bernard's name, using what evidence she had compiled and the promise of enormous profits to blackmail him into cooperating with her. Unfortunately for her, she ran into Lynette. Even though my sister doesn't like to focus too much on a regular day, serious mode Lynette is one of the most Still, all of that thinking really saps her energy.
He's gonna leave the recharging to me. Okay. Whee! Where are we going?
Black tea and a cute kitty. Truly the best combo for standby mode. Want some? I hope you'll like it. Not at all. Information is indeed very important, but if you were to try to collect every piece, plus, if you just think about it, what sounds more fun? Writing a statement or enjoy? Great answer. That'd be my pick too. Had we not run into that case, we could have spent the entire day like this. But now, I'm running low on both time and energy. You're right. I can sense it. I'm recharging very quickly at the moment.
When did you start to suspect Elodie?
Something about her rubbed me the wrong way since the very beginning. But to be more precise, it was probably around the time when I saw Bonnie try to get away from her. Elodie tried to get close, but Bonnie deliberately dodged her. Maybe Bonnie had tried to evade her before at Pierre's base. Or perhaps not everyone who likes cats is a good person. But if cats like you, you're probably alright. Humans tend to overthink things, but cats rely on their instincts. She took a liking to you the moment you met.
Yay. Aww. There's probably so many endings I can do. What were the other endings?
was that obvious? We investigated so quickly that perhaps we've... Is there still anything... Bernard claims to have received a letter. There's no need to rush. Well, we've just... Yeah, according to Bernard, Pierre also supplied all of the goods. The Marechaussee Phantom found Bonnie and the Lefebvre pendant at Pierre's... Why would he leave such an
Hang on, I think I messed that up.
Now behave and
That hurt.
Is there something?
Huh?
I see.
Hey,
Because he has been kept in the dark. That never quite added up for me. Why did Pierre feel compelled? Both of these things are in stark contrast. He probably received, unbeknownst to him, however.
What?
If you focus only on Bernard's testimony...
What?
Yep, which is
Come on.
why... Once they had instructed Pierre to Of course, Pierre's disappearance at such a sensitive time immediately... All the third person would have to do from that point on...
Wait. So you're saying...
is...
Chevra said that they suggested that... But if the disappearance is...
Huh?
Haven't you taken this joke? They were worthless. I lost all my
Sneak attack time! Ooh, yeah!
Hey! Don't do anything stupid!
Phew. So I was right after all. This is it.
Guess that's probably why she suddenly flipped.
Well, given that...
Thank you for your help, everyone.
If statements... I still need to go back... A lot has happened since... Once I'm done talking...
A little amuse-bouche!
Want some? I see. Not at all. Plus, if you just think about it, great answer. Had we not run into that case, you're right. I can... Something about her rubbed... Elodie tried to get close, but Bonnie deliberately dodged her.
That was not it. Let's try that again. Surely I missed something.
Now behave. And
That hurt.
Is everything... I still feel like... Also, I've had this... no good. I've still got nothing. Alright. Let's go to the Humanes before my energy...
Oh. Well, that happened. So that's what happens when you fail the check, huh? There's so many ways this can go.
Huh. I didn't like that. Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. Let's see... 4. Well, the cards fell... If you want to get the right answer, you have to let... So, to put it another way... Or... Why don't you pick a card? Thank you. Here, take the Fatometer. Also... Back to the drinks Nope, I said it was you. Besides, the drinks reception, I might get sued for breach of contract. One other thing. Do you want to come with me? If...
We never did see what happened and quickly chose that route instead of finding out the kitty's owner.
There you are, Lynette! Where did you disappear to? Leone and I have been looking everywhere for...
I found her outside. Do I...
I don't think so. Could belong to one of the guests.
Fair enough.
Don't worry. We'll ask around for you.
Maybe you could leave her with us. We'll take her to the reception desk.
Sure. I would help, but I'm a little preoccupied. Sorry.
It's no trouble at all. We're...
Also, if it's no...
Leone! One last thing, Lynette. Director Mary is looking for you.
I'm not usually required at the...
Spectacular choreography, a masterpiece of mise-en-scène, and the performance, oh my, groundbreaking, dripping with, je ne sais quoi. My congratulations on another magnificent...
Yes, I, for one, was particularly captivated by the clearly allegorical narrative undertones. The Lost Puppet shines a spotlight on
They
the
have lost me.
technological advances in our modern society, particularly as they relate to changing modes of such a pioneering work.
I can already see the headlines of tomorrow's newspapers. They will...
But it was a group effort, of course, to convey emotions in a silent
Speaking of the cast, Jillian, another strong performance from you in Director Mariu's latest show.
That's quite an overstatement. I've only ever played supporting roles.
On that point, you stated a few months ago in an interview that you were looking to secure a leading role in your next show.
We had a discussion about this, and while Lynette hadn't previously performed in an acting role, quite simply, this was the role
Exactly. I was honored to share the stage with her. Lynette worked extremely hard in all of the rehearsals, and she's an incredible...
Oh, Lynette's back!
Hey, Lynette, where have you been?
Are you in standby mode? Some reports say you switched that state to recharge after a show.
Ah, method acting, of course. Such a
Those seemingly stilted movements were in fact an inspired portrayal.
A cat.
A cat. We've long heard that you are a kind soul, as well as
This show looks on track to break box office records for avant-garde theater.
Not really.
I believe Lynette...
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. But don't you want the fans to know how you're feeling right now? After the...
That's true.
I'm sure the fans would love to learn...
How interesting.
We need a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cards. Who knows what's going to be on the cards? Random number time. We got to pick a number between 1 and 12. Rolling, 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 and we got a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, a perfect 10.
Oh, really?
Huh? Wait, you're...
Wow, are you a fan of Lynette too?
Yeah, it's just... Turns out... It's a power-saving mode for participating in conversation at tea parties. But at a tea party, I'm not normally subjected to a constant stream of I think...
Lynette, Director Mariu would like you to join... It's just the members of the troupe, along with...
Oh.
3, 2, 1, smile.
My thing, you can collect your copy from the first floor.
Mariu! Get over here!
I thought the group photo was the final hurdle.
Oof! Go to the second floor to pass the time. Yeah, let's escape from all these people. What's Fiorina?
Hotel de Boers, il flûtant, traveler? Lynette? Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean, managed to get an invite? Naturally, people wanted to hear my comments on the emerging art. Remarkable, and a very worthwhile artistic endeavor. Exploring a character with no lines or facial expressions, who can only communicate how your performance was beyond anything I could have imagined, Lynette. Clearly, this was a very suitable role for you in...
No.
Oh, basically, I think I'd give it a positive review overall. Just...
So, you thought they were pretty over the...
In fairness, it's normal to bring along some vocal supporters for publicity when a new show opens. Then again, I'm no specialist in avant-garde theater. Maybe I'm just not well acquainted with their review criteria. Or maybe it's because I came to the show with some preconceived expectations. I did happen to see the original draft.
What original draft?
Oh? He didn't show it to you? It must have been a few months ago. He came to me to get some advice from an experienced performer's perspective. I had a lot on my plate at the time, so I had to turn him down. I only skimmed a few... I don't know. The protagonist just seemed more complex, I guess. Especially in the last 2 scenes. Still a mechanical puppet on...
Emotional depth?
Oh, I'm just thinking aloud here. Don't take it to heart. Besides, a script and a play are 2 very different beasts, especially with a novel art form like a masked mime show. I'm sure Mariu had his reasons for the change. Change of topic. I see you've escaped the crowds to seek refuge on the 2nd floor. Fame can be overwhelming at first, can't it? Perhaps you'd benefit from hearing about the
No thanks, I'm good. Pretty sure...
hey, at least let me finish. I have top tips on dealing with belligerent reporters, slipping away to hunt down snacks.
Tell me everything.
You sold her on that part.
First, take a seat, mon ami.
That was very... I expect most of the people downstairs have left by now.
Yeah, a lot of people have left already.
The photo must be in this envelope, right? If it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would have stamped. It's fine. While I was on stage, there was a moment when I felt like someone was I got a vague sense of it again during the reception. Like, normally, I'm used to lurking in the shadows on the stage and spying on other people. So, it was strange. Or someone just took a disliking to me for no real reason. Okay, problem solved.
What? A threat letter?
You have destroyed this work of art. Step down from the leading role. I don't think we're gonna find any more clues here. Yes, Lex. Whatever destroyed means, it could have something to do with the original script.
I feel like it's that other girl, the blonde hair.
I can't believe how well the whole Lynette's debut acting role thing worked out. Even the avant-garde box.
How could I ever have doubted you? If you...
See? I told you. All the times she'd refused in the past were all the more... Can you imagine if you'd gone with Jillian? You'd have been lucky to get half the ticket sales you've ended up with.
I think it was Jillian.
True. Well, Jillian still needs to get a few more...
Do you have a moment, Director Mary?
If it isn't the... I'm guessing you're here to discuss the show with the director? I'll leave you artists to discuss.
I certainly will.
Mr. Maloney.
So, what can I do for the two of you?
We heard that the original script for The Lost Puppet was quite different from the final show.
Oh! Well, this is a surprise. It's not uncommon for scripts to undergo major changes as they're being brought to the stage. But I'm afraid there's a mechanical puppet with a bumbling body but a sensitive soul. There's no doubt about it. You are...
Sorry.
All right then. Delving deep in the search of court, you shouldn't give your attention to early draft. The current script is the final version because it is the best version. What letter?
Yep.
Destroyed this work of art? Really?
Well, Director Mariu?
No. Who on earth would write such nonsense? Absolutely not. Without Lynette, this show would be over. Everyone's hard work would...
Yeah, maybe Jillian could fill in for...
What? No way. Out of the question. The protagonist has to be played... Huh? I've got it. It's a competitor. Yes, this letter You can't lie low. That's just what they...
A competitor?
Definitely. Those lowlifes. Slander and libel are all their there's so many of them out there. Fame always seems... Stay strong, Lynette, and keep up the...
I still think it's
So,
Jillian.
A competitor? I kinda doubt it. We've dealt with... But at the moment... Besides... When I felt that evil stare, I'm actually more concerned about Mariu. When I mentioned, especially since Maloney mentioned that the initial plan was to cast, sounds like there was an original protagonist as well as an original script. Yep, she told me.
I feel like she's the suspect. Hey, look at the poodle. It's a poodle, and it's got a cane. What a gentleman! What a gentle dog! What a gentle dog! All right. Oh. I'm curious on something. Oh, it unlocks in 50 minutes. Fudge.
Lynette? What are you doing?
I've been to the Fleuve Sandra plenty of times before.
Things are different around here. You might be used to a crowd of bootlicking morons.
Bootlicking morons?
She's gotta be a threat.
I don't know. I've never met this.
Gina, stop that! Go home now!
Jillian!
No buts. How many times do I have to tell you? That had nothing to do with Lynette. If you don't leave right now, I swear I'll... Oh!
Jillian! Just because Lady Farina speaks highly of you?
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child. That's why I never let her visit me at work.
It's okay. I have younger siblings too, so I get it. If you let angsty kids get you riled up, they'll drain all your energy. So don't worry, I won't let it get to me.
Well, the situation's a little different in this case, but still, think
we heard about it from Maloney. He said you were...
Maloney, huh? I'm sorry. I never mentioned it because Director Mariu was very clear that I mustn't let any of it affect you. What's this? I don't know, who would do something?
Don't be scared, Jillian. Just...
Okay. Oh, it's true. I was originally cast as the lead in the Lost. I've worked with Director Mariu many times before, but only in minor roles. The audiences and critics never had much to say about me. A few months ago, Mariu started working on a new show, so I plucked up the courage to... He was hesitant, but he agreed to let me try for the part.
There's...
Lynette? But... she...
And that's why we cannot afford to wait, Jillian. I understand how you must be feeling. Next time.
Aww.
I was incredibly disappointed at first. But I also know full well that I don't have without Lynette. How could we ever convince people to pay money to go and see a mask? And if the show was a flop with me in the leading role, how would I answer to the director and the rest of the cast? Then, I got to meet you on stage and found that you're really down to earth, in a way that not many celebrities are. You were kind to everyone, and your performance wasn't bad. Whatever disappointment I had left at that point, I certainly wasn't about to take it out on you.
By wasn't bad, you mean it wasn't great either. So, I'm guessing Mariu changed the script to simplify the protagonist, make her a dumbed-down version of the mechanical puppet that I could actually play.
He did make some changes to the script, yes. Jaik, one of the other actors. He likes to collect Dr. Mariu's old drafts because he hopes to be a director himself.
Makes sense. I always see him talking to Mariu.
Okay, so maybe my... Yeah, I thought it would have been her, but maybe it was Gina. Hard to say.
sorry to keep you waiting.
Jillian brought me up to speed on the situation. I'm here to help however I can. Here, this is the script you're after. That's always the way with pen and paper drafts. Even the final script is full. There should be a cleaner copy of the original script in here somewhere.
No problem. Now
Now activating search mode. Oh boy. Hey.
Just say what you mean. No problem, student.
I'm getting good with these cards. Oh. That's better. Oh, come on.
The protagonist returns to the ruins where she began and performs a dance in honor of her deceased companion. Yep. That's not something a novice could hope to pull off after just a few months of her. Frankly, I think that the original script is much better. Jillian, shall I go tell Mariu to put you back in the... Huh?
What? Are you serious? But the next show is at the opera...
But not such a rare one for me, though, right?
That's different. This isn't you as part of a magic duo. It's a chance to star as the...
Fame in small doses has its perks, but if you play the lead, the fame will be yours, and I get to be free.
It'll never work. There's no way Director Mariu or Maloney would ever agree to it. The set for Act 4 would need to change, as would all the marketing materials. And that would mean asking Maloney for a lot more Mora. Changing actors at the last minute is just too risky. If anything went wrong, it could bankrupt the whole troupe. Plus, Maloney's friends have already published a ton of articles saying how this is the role that Lynette was born to play. If Lynette quit the show and I took her place... If Lynette left, they'd sooner stop the whole show than let me—
Stop the whole show? But all the people in the troupe, months and months of everyone's hard work would all be for nothing.
Any other way? All right, more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's try to pull the cards again. Let's see what we get. Number 5. Uh-oh.
Consent, huh? And that way, he'll be...
You know, it's a little crazy.
No way!
Jillian, you said before, whatever disappoint... In other words, that disappointment is still there. Be honest.
But the thought of
You think they'd be put out?
Jillian, you were more dedicated than anyone and I think you know that unless we decide to make a stand here, so take it from me, you would not be putting...
You guys... Okay.
Yes! I knew you'd come around.
Wonderful.
Wait, but what about the threat letter?
As long as we stick to the plan, I'll give up the lead role.
But surely you want to know who it's from. If they're out there and
I doubt they will. It's supposed to be a threat, but they didn't even say what would happen if I don't meet their demands. Plus, the handwriting is... who knows? Maybe it was just a fan of yours having a moment.
A fan?
Maybe there's someone out there who really appreciates your talent.
Hey!
It's getting late. Come on.
It was the sister.
Sorry for manhandling you. You looked like you were seconds away from figuring out who sent the letter. Nothing gets past you?
Just because Lady Farina...
I'm so sorry, Gina.
I guess she must have snuck into the drinks reception and she idolizes Jillian, both as an older sister and an actress. To make matters worse, all the critics were hailing this amateur as a perfect fit for the role. And even Fontaine's former biggest... yeah, that pretty much... Like I said, getting angry if it was my younger brother or sister and they found out I'd been treated unfairly. I was in Jillian's position once. Back when Linny and I were starting out, before we got famous, we just had to take things a day at a time, so I can understand Gina's frustration. No, the way she looks at me is indignant. Frustrated, but not malicious. Whoever was giving me that evil stare was backstage. Blending into the crowd at a drinks reception is one thing, but trying to blend in back... we'll find out who it is before too long. On that note...
2 days later. There is so much to this story, it's crazy. Like, the fact how deeply invested the story is depending on which choice you made, whether you chose to go figure out the cat's owner, or if you just stayed in the, if you went to the hotel instead. Two different big stories depending on which route you chose. That's really well wrote. Whoever came up with this quest did a really good job, in my opinion.
Oh, you're here! Lynette and Jillian are
That puppet in the middle, is that Lynette?
It's starting. Keep your...
Wow. I thought it would be hard to follow, but in the end, it was actually very clear.
Even though her face was expressionless and she didn't speak the whole time, I felt like I could
Director Merriu really is a master of his craft.
I have a friend who saw the show on the opening day. They thought the critics overstated how good it was, but I gotta say, the protagonist is incredible.
I can't believe it's only been a few days since the last show.
Your penchant for the hyperbolic strike.
Well...
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?
My apologies, Mr. Maloney.
Oh, very well. Hey.
Are you guys sure this is gonna work? What if Director Merriu pushes back? We're already halfway there. We can't back out now. All we need to do is...
What is this plan that you're so...
Director Mariu!
Korantan and Armory have both finished their articles. I went to greet them as a mere formality, but you seem to have availed yourselves of my absence during the first half to defy me. Was that really Lynette playing the lead role?
Well done, director. You saw through it.
Ta-da!
Director Mariu?
I switched costumes and masks with Jillian so that I could be the protagonist's companion and stay out of the limelight.
Lynette, why?
You know my acting is amateur. The only reason I'm being seen as a pro, let alone a pioneer, is because you have critics supporting the show. If they'd seen me in the leading role during the first half, they wouldn't be expecting anything more. But what happens now that they've seen Jillian in the role? If you force me to play the lead in the second half, they'll be wondering, why is the actress suddenly giving such an underwhelming performance right at the climax of the whole story? These are just some of the questions that will be on everyone's minds during the second half. There's only one way for you to save your reputation. And
absolutely not. I'd sooner announce that we're having... If I keep Jillian as the lead for the second half, what do you think will happen in the curtain? What will your fans think? There'd be tickets to refund, fines to pay for breach. You can't just take a job on a whim, then abandon your
Director Mariu, please. You're not...
Actually, Jillian, he's half right. I did kind of take this on a whim, but my responsibility here is making sure you get back the role that belongs to you.
And I guess part of that responsibility lies with me, considering I badgered you into accepting the job.
Look who finally... Did you bring all your props?
Sorry I'm a little late to the show.
Lenny? What do you want?
That might be a little tricky, but instead...
What's this?
Huh?
A draft complaint letter, my contract, your legal fees, reimbursement for the tickets, and an advance on the penalty fee for breach of contract. Mr. Mariu, I'm stepping down from the leading role, regardless of whether you choose to cancel the rest.
If you do suffer unforeseen financial losses from this, you're free to seek damages as per the contract. And if you want to file a lawsuit, there's a draft here that you can use if you need it.
What? I can't believe this. You're literally handing me a lawsuit against you with a straight face. Of course. All this Mora, it's a pittance to you, isn't it? Must be nice to have the luxury of prior success and look at us. We're huge stars. One minute we want to go on stage. The next we feel like backing out of the contract. But that's okay. We're famous. We can afford it. You have no respect for other people. You don't give a hoot how much this show means to other people. You don't even care that the whole...
That's not true. I do care. And I'm under no illusion as to how much this show means to you.
Oh, brilliant deduction there. Of course it means a lot to me. This is my show. That's the only reason I asked you to be in it in the...
Really? Then why do your eyes tell a different story? Almost as if I've destroyed your work of art.
What?
A couple days ago, I asked some associates to do some digging for me. I was interested to know who else you invited to play the lead apart from Lynette. Surprise, surprise. Turns out that all the other famous actresses you asked either had prior commitments or weren't a good fit for the role. They all turned you down.
And I would have turned you down too, if not for an unlikely set of coincidences.
You didn't send those invitations because you were looking for a better actress than Jillian, but because your investor wanted a big name in your show, right?
Director Mariu.
To get Maloney on your side, you chose to make Jillian the understudy, and then look for an opportunity for her to take the lead.
I bet you were torn at first, weren't you? Do you stick to the tried and tested formula? Choose Lynette, use her celebrity to get the critics on your side so that you and your investors can line your pockets?
Or do you choose Jillian, so that you and your longtime collaborator can stage the show of your dreams? The original, unedited version of the lost puppet.
Oh,
You mentioned prior success and fame earlier, but you're a well-known director yourself, with countless works to your name. Or maybe, deep down, none of your
Right now, you have an opportunity to send Jillian onto that stage and perform the second half as you always imagined it, faithful to your original script. Your work would be displayed for all of Fontaine to see.
Did you say perfect?
Or will you act now before Maloney and the critics can protest and make your dream come true on the stage? And Jillian's dream. In fact, the dreams of
the whole troupe?
Director Mariu? Actually, most of the money Linny brought came from us. We all chipped in.
We've worked with you for many years now. Your troupe has been here for you all the way from the empty theaters where we first performed. We watched as you slowly started down a path you used to despise. The path of powerful connections, drinks receptions, backdoor deals with critics, and...
But this is just a temporary measure. I did it for the...
Yes, we know. Back when you started, you had to bite the bullet and do these things to keep the troupe afloat, but then what happened? You began to embrace these methods more and more, becoming so reliant on them that every show you put out is overhyped by the media, and every script you write is edited to suit some celebrity's needs. Surely you must have noticed what's happening. While we've been performing at bigger and bigger theaters with each show, the applause is getting quieter and quieter each night. And the criticism from people who... Maloney's friends are sycophants. They don't care if the audience is disappointed because the show doesn't live up to their glowing reviews. They praise the things they like and skirt around the things they don't.
Look, I know everyone's using the same promotional tactics, but...
Well, it's just a stopgap solution.
Next time, huh? Yeah. Next time, you won't use your connections. Next time, you won't pay off the critics.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you make some money once, you'll want to do it again, then again.
Yeah,
Slowly
right.
but surely, you turn your back on your dreams.
I won't turn my back on my dreams any longer, Director Mariu. Never again.
Atta girl.
Me neither.
Yeah. $25. 5 plus 8, there's 10, 18. 10, 18. 21. 24. So I need at least... I'm gonna win this. All I need is a 1. Haha.
Hi.
Huh. The plot here seems a little different.
The protagonist wanted to return to the stage, so the puppets replaced all her parts with the latest ones available, built her a grand opera house, and summoned a...
And in the end, she forgot herself amidst the applause and cheers of her fellow puppets.
Hey, no spoilers! Huh? Wait.
Walk-ons.
No need to be so nervous, Director Mariu. We only told you Lynette would be quitting the show to get you to make a decision. We wanted you to believe that this show would have to end after today, no matter what you decided. But in truth, I believe that if we choose our words carefully, there's no reason we can't get Maloney to come...
You really thought this plan through? What's worrying me now isn't how Maloney will react or what... It's the audience. I've always thought the original script is better, but will it move them like I've always hoped? What if people only came to see the show for Lynette? And because of the reviews? What if they... It feels like I've been hiding inside my safe little castle.
We're right here with you.
Okay, this ending is much better.
I love how they brought back the set from Act 1 and gave it a whole new meaning.
I can see Lynette.
Fantastic twist.
Time for the curtain call. I could always leave my mask on.
Hey.
This is what fame looks like.
Jillian, you were amazing! Syra was tearing up when you did your final solo dance. Well...
Really? I was...
What looked like an actor unsteady on her feet was in fact a poignant expression.
Hey, Mario! What the heck was that?
Our articles are already going to press.
Hey now.
Hold on. The decision was mine, and mine alone. They had nothing to do.
Marry you? So it was...
Time for Act 5.
Director Mariu, Mr. Maloney, what on earth is going on? Why was Lynette not in the lead role? It took a lot of convincing from me for her to accept the role, and I had to turn down some big work opportunities to come and watch her.
Lenny, it was up...
Wait, Linny, as a matter of fact, this was a piece of performance art. In this play, the masks and costumes serve to obscure the differences between characters, and by extension, the difference between human and machine. We took that idea to the next level with an actor swap, blurring the lines between one performer and the next. So it's in service of the... It's similar to deceiving the audience in a magic show. We employed this technique as a means of breaking the... It allows the audience to more intuitively understand the cognitive dissonance felt by the protagonist as a machine trying to reconcile the notion of her humanity. The audience's experience mirrors the protagonist's own confusion and becomes part of the artistic performance itself.
What a clever way to describe it.
Hold up.
Oh, I see. Well, bravo.
That's probably more because you just don't really understand avant...
Maybe so, maybe so. Well, perhaps it went over my head, but...
You must have worked it out by the end of the first half, surely. Mr. Amory, I just heard that you managed to write your review after just the first 2 acts.
Yes, you're right. Director Mariu and I are old friends. You should have said something. Then I could have played along.
Yes, well, to deceive the audience, you must first deceive your closest companions. I have to give credit to Lynette and her experience in performing magic. That's what...
You mean your show was partly inspired by Lynette's background in magic? Well, in that case, I'll have to plug it to everyone I know.
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Maloney is going to cancel the show.
Cancel the show?
While I accept that deceiving the audience in the manner you did certainly has artistic merit, this is not a
very valid criticism, and one that I humbly accept. If that happens, we're prepared to reimburse and apologize to any audience members who weren't satisfied with the experience. Plus, it looks like Jillian is better than me at delivering the excellence people want to see. I'm sure audiences will be very happy with the show if she's allowed to stay in the leading role.
Maloney, I believe there should still be time to tweak my article. From the look on Lynette's face...
Oh, one other thing. We managed to get a meeting with Lady Farina anyway. She agreed to write a review focusing on Jillian's performance and the quality of the show as a whole. And I'm sure today's audience will be discussing her performance too. There's sure to be a variety.
Oh, I mean, art at its finest, clearly.
Oh, of course. Always good to put some thought into these things. Especially now, with...
Quarantine.
They had to bite their tongues. They had.
Gina? You snuck in? When? I thought
I'm sorry, Jillian, but...
Do you think this move needs jazzing up a little? Not jazzing up, per se. I was thinking...
Thank you both so much. Without the two of you, I always told myself that once I'd made enough Mora, I'd... Just like those critics with their dishonest reviews, You're right. Anyway, enough about my problem. I've been looking into it a lot over the past couple of days, but it doesn't...
Ah, yes. Lynette, do you...
What? I'm sorry. Gina insisted on coming.
Lynette... That letter?
What?
Gina? So it was...
Director, it's time for... Oh, I think we came at a bad time.
Yep. Good job reading the room.
Lynette, Gina must have been worried sick about me. I'm sure even she wouldn't do something so stupid if she was in her right mind.
Jillian, no! This is completely my fault, and I'm the one who should have to bear the consequences. I got the wrong end of the stick and completely misjudged Lynette.
Well, since I haven't actually suffered any losses, seeking redress could be difficult. Maybe we could just...
Really?
After all, Gina wouldn't be the first person to ever misjudge me. In any case, I think we can all agree it was a misunderstanding.
But still, I was wrong to write that...
If that's what you really want, the crew could always use an extra hand. Plus, it'll give your older sister a chance to keep an eye on you. And stop you getting into any more trouble.
That's it. Put her to work. Put her to work.
Thank you, Lynette. Really.
Is it? I'm so much more at home here. Mary, you said she's a very promising young actress. Phew. Freedom at Fame is I'm happiest when I get to sit in a quiet place. Yep.
Hey.
Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
There's another route. What is this route?
Thank you both. I always told myself that... Just like those critics. You're right. Anyway, I've been looking into it a lot.
Ah, yes.
I'm sorry.
Lynette...
Huh?
Yeah, me neither.
Wait.
Oh, do you mean when we ran into you at the Fleuve Sandra? And you said, as I recall, you were only trying to look out for your sister. It was just a few words.
Oh. Well, it sounds like Gina knows what she did was wrong. Owning up to your...
I understand that feeling of wanting to stand up for your family but next time, maybe consider a different tactic? Something you can pull off more effectively, and without arousing suspicion.
Stop giving her ideas.
Got it.
Why do I feel like I'm missing?
Hey, here you are. Great! Everyone's in one place. That. What do you think? It's group photo time. We have. Okay, everyone. We all have pretty awkward smiles on our faces in the photo from Hotel.
Oh, am I really not allowed to force a smile?
Lynette, Traveler, come on. 3, 2, 1, smile!
Hey, hey, hey. One more option. Hmm? What is this last option? Now I'm curious. Is there a third story I don't know about? If they manage to do a third story, I'm gonna be impressed.
Huh, I didn't like that. Clearly, there's some design flaws. Let's see. 4. Well, if you want to get the right... So, to put it another way... Or... What? Thank you. This one... Here, take the photometer. Also, if... Huh? What you're saying is that really okay?
Uh-oh.
Besides, if... All right. So, we're looking for Bonnie's owner? There's 20 cards, and I should also mention, to put in perspective...
No! Ow! Let's try that again.
Huh. I didn't like that. Huh? What you're saying, is that really...
Try that again.
Maybe not. Besides, if someone does... Alright. Back to the There's 20 cards, and I should also mention, this time the cut... Nope, I said it. Besides, the drinks reception is technically part of... I might get sued for... one other thing. Do you...
I don't think that worked either. We got it. It has to be a perfect persuasion for this to work.
Huh. I didn't like that. Huh? What you're... Is that really...
Alright, you guys, you pick a card. Since my first 2 attempts did not work. It's between 1, 6, 9. We got 12 cards. I'll let you guys pick this one. We want to get a number, get 10 or higher. Or I'll also let Pixel decide too. Pixel, pick a number between 1 and 12.
I pick 7. It's the perfect number. Lucky and full of cat-tastic vibes.
7 it is. Pixel, you're so lucky.
You make a good point. Okay, well... So, stick around here in standby mode? Yeah. Oh, good idea. Bonnie's definitely hungry. May as well. We could be here a while. Alright then.
Hey, doing nothing is the happiest thing. We got really lucky there. All right, now we got 10 wishes for the standard banner. Here goes nothing. And we got a purple. I already have Sayu. Meh. Wasn't a good one. Wasn't a good roll. How did I get 6 of the same claymore? Oh, that's just funny. I get 6 of the same sword. Multitask no jutsu. Seriously? Well, we leveled her up to level 80. All right. Well, it is currently about to be 5 a.m. here. I haven't slept yet. I got work in the morning, work in the afternoon, so I do need to get some sleep. So this is going to be it for tonight. Alright, that's going to be it for tonight's stream, everybody. Thank you all those who did join. If you like what you've seen, make sure you give the like, the follow, and the subscribe button a big old boop on the nose. If you want to see some of my artwork, check out my DeviantArt, check out my Twitter, check out Blue Sky. If you want to keep up to date on what I do, regardless of the streams, art projects, or anything else, follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter. You won't miss a thing. You're free to hit me up in my Discord. I'm usually on every day. So, schedule-wise, there'll be a Strenova stream tomorrow, no stream Thursday, we'll have a Fortnite stream on Friday. Saturday's stream's gonna change, actually. I'm gonna be playing Repo with Carrie Buns. So we'll do the Zelda stream on Sunday. Also, like I said earlier, we're gonna be trying to focus more on Twitch for my streams for a week or so. I decided to let people on YouTube watch the stream too, halfway through, but for the rest of the week, it's going to be mostly on Twitch. So if you want to watch it live, make sure you follow me on Rusty_Dalgo on Twitch. I will still post the vlogs on YouTube though. But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. You guys have a wonderful night, morning, whatever time it is. Stay goofy, have fun, keep those tails a wagging, and hope to see you all next time. Bye bye!